Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Amber. Here on my channel, I discuss all things life, love, and health, children, and all things in between. And if you are interested in that type of thing, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this video, go back and watch my other videos. Make sure you're hitting the notification bell so that way you're notified each and every time I upload a video to my channel. Let's get into it. So in today's video, let's see, what are we talking about? Oh, we are talking about my top 5 tips to saving time at the grocery store. So, yeah. The grocery store for some people is so frustrating. Just the whole thought of it. The thought of compiling your grocery list, which I went over in one of my previous videos. Thinking of what you need, and that's even before you've even stepped out of the car to go into the grocery store. So I hope that these 5 tips will save you some time, therefore decreasing your stress at the grocery store. So let's get started. I have my iPad here, so if you see me looking down, that's why. Let's see. Okay, so tip number 1. Tip number 1 is to have your list ready. What do I mean by that? What I mean is make sure that you go back and watch the last video, and I describe things that I like to incorporate into my list. But what I will say is you want to start with the things that you need first, because those are going to be the things that are fresh on your mind, the things that you absolutely have to have before returning home. After you've put the things that you absolutely have to have, then go through, do the meals, like I talked about in the last video. Do the meals that you're planning to prepare, all the ingredients, etc. After you've done that, if there's anything that you've forgotten, then you can list that at that time. In no particular order. I'm not the type of person that is 100% organized when it comes to my grocery list, as in creating a list that goes section by section. That's just not me. There are some people out there that do that. Great for you. I do good by having my list ready in time to go to a day before the grocery store. Most of the time it's the day I'm going. Tip number 2 is do not browse. Do not browse when you're going to the store. I am so guilty of doing this. First of all, I see shiny things. I already have a squirrel brain. I'm all over the place. So I have told myself I will not browse at the grocery store, because what does this do? It causes me to take more time at the grocery store. Not only do I take more time at the grocery store because I'm going and looking at other things that I didn't come in there for, but I'm also spending more money. And if you have a family, you don't even have to have a family. If you're a human, saving money is, the thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's what you want to do. So save your time, save your money. Do not browse around at the grocery store looking at shiny new things that you may want to try. Don't let your kids distract you by grabbing stuff off the shelf and telling you that they want this and all of that. Don't give into it. Tip number 3, something that I have recently started doing within the last, couple of weeks, is using the grocery store app. So for me here in Ohio, we have Kroger. Kroger has an app for the store. I sometimes will shop online. That's a different video. But for this specific video, what I do when I cannot find an item is I will open the app and type the item into the search bar, and it will tell me what aisle that item is in. You could also, if your store does not have an app, you could just ask someone that works in the store. I know we don't want to do that. We don't want to stop and talk to people. We're trying to get in, get out. But if it's going to save you time at the grocery store, do it. I've done it even with my app. You know, maybe my phone is dying, because that's happened to me before. My phone like dies while I'm in the grocery store. I can't find the item. I'm gonna ask somebody, hey, where is this at? A lot of people will walk you right there. Like, I've had people to like stop stocking shelves and they'll walk me over to the aisle that I need to go. Tip number 4, cross your items off as you shop. For me, what I like to do is I get a little bit particular about my grocery list. Whatever, you can call it whatever you want, but I am very particular is the word that I will use about the way my grocery list is set up. What do I mean by that? I mean that I like to make sure my list is written nice and neat. Typed would be great. I should think about that. But I make sure my list is written neatly. Why? Because I have had lists that I have written in the past and I have just chicken scratch things onto the list. Then when I get to the grocery store, I either can't read it, or by the time I get done marking things out, between the sloppy handwriting and crossing things off my list, I miss things that I should have gotten at the grocery store. So I write things neatly or space it out however you need to do it. I also don't like to have like columns. Like if I'm writing things down the sheet of paper, I don't like to continue on the next side, because then I forget things. So I'll just flip the paper over, or I'll just have 2 pages, because just actually yesterday I was at the grocery store and I did the 2-column thing, and I wrote things down and I had things over here, and which will be in my leads me to my next tip. I had forgotten something that I was supposed to get in the area where I was in. So that leads me to my next tip, which is shop by section. Now, I mentioned earlier in this video that I don't lay my list out according to the areas of the store. I just write my list out of what I need, and then when I'm in that area, so say for instance, I am in the produce section, all of the produce that I need to get, whether it's fruits, vegetables, onions, whatever, I make sure I get all those things. So jumping back up to tip 4, which was crossing the items off as you shop, I put the items in 2 columns on the front of the sheet of paper. And what ended up happening is I was in the produce section getting everything out, and in the second column I needed a head of lettuce. I already been to the produce section getting all of my produce, but forgot to get the head of lettuce because it was over here in this section. So that's why I think that shopping by section really helps, because you can go over to the condiment section and get your ketchup and your mustard and your pickles and your mayonnaise and whatever. You can go over to the pasta and get all of the pasta, the dry pasta or whatever that you need for your meals, and so forth and so on. That way you aren't going over to get the ketchup and you're like, oh man, I forgot to get cereal. Then you're running back down to the cereal aisle. Oh, I need to get buns. And then you're running back down to the other side, and it's just like you're ripping and running around in circles in the grocery store. And it takes up so much time doing that. Hold on. I get excited and I get thirsty. So yeah, so you're taking all this time because you're not going in order, and then you end up missing things. As we already talked about, you miss things on your list. You are not aware that there was something else that you were supposed to get. Like for instance, like I was talking about with writing sloppy, I've crossed things off and then I'm like, oh, what does that say? And I think it's a cross out line, and really there's an actual item that I'm supposed to get. So I either forget it, or I end up doubling back and going back to the same aisle that I was already in, creating a huge mess. So let's go over them again. Have your list ready. Prepare everything either the day before or the morning of, like I do. There's nothing wrong with doing that. Tip number 2, we're not browsing around the store. We're having our list ready. We're not browsing around the store. We're going to use our grocery store app when it's available to find items that we can't find. So we're not just, oh, where is it? this and lollygagging and perusing around the store and wasting time. We're going to cross the items off as we shop. Lastly, we're going to shop by section. Okay? So those are my 5 tips to saving time at the grocery store. Make sure that you check out my previous video, which was when it comes to grocery tips. I talked about it was just tips in general for busy moms at the grocery store. My video that I just posted prior to this was talking about meditation and how I use that in my daily life. So I would be so appreciative if you guys would watch those videos. Make sure you like them if that's your type of thing. Comment if there's other types of videos that you would like to see. I am so open to feedback. I would greatly appreciate any type of suggestions that you guys have to make. Make sure that you guys are following me on my Instagram, on my Facebook, and on Twitter. Also, I mentioned in my last video that I had not been able to get a blog out, but I did. I recently put a blog up, and it talks about the mom body, which myself included, we can be so self-conscious of. So I talk about that in that blog. So make sure you're checking out thesupermom.org for my blog posts. Make sure you're liking the videos, subscribing to my channel, hitting the notification bell. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.